This is Matador News, and these are today's headlines. A tornado kills at least 22 people in Tennessee. 14 states participate in Super Tuesday, voting between the 5 remaining Democratic presidential candidates. And the coronavirus continues to spread.
Hello, welcome to Matador News. I'm Marcela Rosa.
And I'm Giselle Vazquez.
A tornado struck parts of central Tennessee early this morning, killing at least 22 people and injuring others. 156 people are in the hospital. The National Weather Service says the EF3 tornado had winds upwards of 165 miles per hour. 50,000 households and businesses were left without power. The fatalities occurred in at least 4 counties, including Davidson, where Nashville is. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee declared a Level 3 state of emergency. Nashville Mayor John Cooper says many people are still missing.
We all worry about some people being left in buildings that have been damaged, and I know the first responders are working their way through that problem.
As Tennesseans get ready to vote today in Super Tuesday primaries, state officials were scrambling to ensure residents can still get to the polls. Voters in areas hit by the tornado are being sent elsewhere to cast their ballots.
Today is Super Tuesday all over the country, one of the most significant days in the Democratic primary season. More than a third of all delegates for the Democratic National Convention are up for grabs. 14 states, including American Samoa, will vote in today's elections. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders goes head-to-head against former Vice President Joe Biden. The biggest prize is California, where Sanders is expected to do well. The biggest battleground is Texas, where Biden rallied Monday night alongside former candidates Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar and former South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Sanders is expected to perform strongest in the West and Northeast, while Biden is expected to do better in the South. The major question is whether former New York Mayor Mike Bloomberg and Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren will get enough delegates to stay in the race.
Matador News reporter Christian Pineda is in the newsrooms with the latest on Ellis County's new voting system.
Thanks, Marcela. CSUN is home to its own new voting center. Located right here in Redwood Hall, voters can walk in and cast their votes on the new touchscreen voting machines. Voters then print paper ballots and put them into a secure box so they can be counted later. With the new voting centers, voters aren't restricted to a specific polling place. They can go to any voting center in the county. They can even drop off their vote-by-mail ballots at certain voting centers, including this one. CSUN student Dorothy, who didn't give us her name, says the new machines are a step up from last election.
It's pretty neat. I worked the polls last year, and the ones that we were using were kind of outdated. So the ones this year were fun to see and pretty easy to understand. So I thought that was cool.
The voting center in Redwood Hall will be open until 8 tonight. Let's go back to Giselle in the studio for more news.
New cases of the novel coronavirus in New York, Georgia, and Washington state have pushed the number of infected people in the U.S. to 106. Health officials in Washington state announced 4 more deaths, bringing the total death toll to 9, all in Washington. All of those who died were described by health officials as older or with underlying health issues. Officials say the number of cases is expected to rise and the risk to the public will increase. Washington state has closed at least a dozen schools. President Trump says the federal government has met with state and county health officials in 30 states.
It just shows you what can happen. 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, you never heard of this. All of a sudden, it's got the world aflutter.
The coronavirus has sickened more than 89,000 people worldwide, and while the majority of cases have occurred in mainland China, at least 66 other countries have reported infected people.
The husband of LA County District Attorney Jack Lacey pointed a gun at unarmed protesters during a confrontation outside the couple's home early yesterday. The incident was filmed and posted on social media on the eve of Lacey's primary election. The incident prompted an LAPD response, but no one was hurt or arrested. Lacey's husband, David Lacey, is a former investigative auditor for the district attorney's office. Lacey offered an apology on her husband's behalf, but also said that the Black Lives Matter protesters have been harassing and threatening her throughout her 2 terms in office. She's facing a primary challenge from the former San Francisco District Attorney George Gascon.
Chris Matthews, one of America's best-known political talk show hosts, is retiring from MSNBC following several recent controversies. Matthews made the announcement during Monday night's Hardball, the show he hosted for more than 20 years. This decision comes after sexual misconduct allegations resurfaced recently. Matthews said in his final broadcast that obviously his retirement isn't for lack of interest in politics, indicating that the decision was not entirely his.
Now let's take it over to Alex Radillo, who has the latest on business news.
Thank you, Marcela. The Federal Reserve has cut half a percentage point in interest rates because of the coronavirus. It is the first cut since the financial crisis of 2008. The decision comes after several days of record-breaking losses on Wall Street. The benchmark funds rate is targeting in a range between 1% to 1.25%. Chairman Jerome Powell says officials saw the coronavirus having a material impact on the economic outlook and want to ease the monetary policy to give more support to the economy. President Trump has been critical of the Feds on Twitter for not making the move sooner. At last, check the Dow Jones average was down more than 800 points. Apple will be paying $500 million to some iPhone owners. The payments are to settle a lawsuit that accused the company of slowing down older iPhone models to pressure users to buy new models. In December 2017, the company admitted to using software updates to slow down older iPhone models. In the United States, iPhone users can file settlement claims if they purchased any iPhone 6, 7, and SE models before December 21st, 2017. CSUN started off the month of March with a spring internship and career fair. Matador News reporter Chloe Hooper is in the newsroom to tell us more about the event on campus.
Coordinator of the event, Sarah Delong, says there are over 40 different industries looking to employ college students. Attending the job fair can help you network and also build up confidence for future job interviews.
There's a lot of ways a student can research internships, but coming to a job fair and meeting face-to-face gives students confidence to share their story, and it helps prepare you for interviews. It helps you build your network and what your expectations going into any job market.
The job fair is happening in the USU until 1 o'clock today, where students are able to talk to employers of their choice about their skills and major. Let's go back to Desiree Rosales in the studio for the latest in health news.
Thank you, Chloe. People who do not follow a regular sleep routine may be at risk for cardiovascular diseases later in life. Researchers say changing your regular sleep-wake time by as little as 90 minutes can increase your chances of having a heart attack. They defined a regular sleep schedule as one with less than a half hour's difference in bedtime and wake-up time. Doctors say people who do not get enough sleep during the week and think they can catch up on weekends are not choosing the healthiest patterns. More hepatitis C screenings are being recommended in the U.S. as the opioid crisis increases the likelihood of people getting the viral infection. The number of people with Hep C is rising in spite of medical advances in treatment. Federal data in 2017 shows more than 44,000 new cases. The Journal of the American Medical Association is urging people ages 18 and up to get tested. People who have it may not show symptoms and may not be aware they are infected. The virus can cause damage to the liver, becoming chronic if not treated on time. People with Hep C can develop cirrhosis and liver cancer. Now, let's take it back over to Alexis in the studio for entertainment.
Thank you, Desiree. Days after the release of her new pop single, Stupid Love, Lady Gaga has officially announced her next album. It will be Gaga's first studio release since 2016's Joanne, her sixth studio album will be called Chromatica and is set for release on April 10th. The album was produced by Blood Pop and Lady Gaga. Now, let's go back to Desiree for sports news.
Thank you, Alexis. Due to the coronavirus outbreak, Japan's Olympic Games may be pushed to the end of 2020. Japan's Olympic minister says the event's contract does not state that the Olympics have to be held in the summer. The IOC has also issued a statement saying they have full commitment to the success of the Olympic Games taking place from July 24th to August 9th of 2020. IOC has also encouraged all athletes to continue to prepare for the Games. The IOC says the decision on whether to go on with the Games could come as late as May. Matador forward Lamine Janae is Big West Player of the Week for the fourth time in his career, and the first this season. He missed the first 12 games of the season, but he was able to pick up where he left off from last season. The sophomore helped the team go 2-0 in the week ending up in a three-way tie for second place. Janae averaged 25.5 points and 10.1 rebounds in 17 games this year. His career-high average of assists per game is at 2.9 and 1.7 for steals per game. In last week's game, he made about 48% of field points and helped the Matadors improve to 8-6 in Big West play. The Matadors open the final week of the season at USC Irvine tomorrow night at 7. Their final game will be at the Matador Dome this Saturday night at 7 against Hawaii. That's all for sports news. Now let's go back to Giselle Vazquez for the weather.
In Southern California weather, the current temperature is 72 degrees in Northridge. The temperature is expected to drop to 51 degrees tonight. The high for today is expected to be 81 with sunny skies. Temperatures are expected to drop until the end of the week. Air quality management says that the air quality today is moderate.
French designer Jean-Yves Blondeau revolutionized roller skating. He moves at speeds of more than 60 miles an hour in his cyborg suit fitted with roller skates. He is Rollerman. The 49-year-old French designer created a carbon fiber roller suit. Now his brand has become big in Asia. He also starred in the end credits of Jim Carrey's 2008 film Yes Man. Rollerman says he wants to take his brand to comics and video games. He also has future plans to help build roller arenas and encourage other athletes to try the sport.
Thanks for watching Matador News. I'm Giselle Vazquez.
I am Marcela Rosa.
I'm Desiree Leon Rosales.
I'm Alexis Radillo.